Yo, what's going on, guys? And today, of course, we're doing another one of my longer videos, about 15 to 20 minutes. We're going to go ahead and address all the rumors that we've heard so far this week. As you know, the Pascal Siakam trade did happen. If you guys haven't seen these videos yet before, there are timestamps down below. If you just want to jump to your team, go ahead, do that. If you want to watch the full video, I love the watch time. And if you just want to wait, I will clip this and add any other rumors we have discussed into the video and make a longer video for each individual topic. So let's get right into it. Like, comment, and subscribe. And we're going to talk about the Dallas Mavericks and who they're interested in. Again, let me hear your support down below in the comment section. Who do you guys want to see moved and what players do you expect to be moved? So we're hearing that the Dallas Mavericks have interest in Andrew Wiggins, PJ Washington, and Dorian Finney-Smith, as we knew that the Dallas Mavericks were part of the 76ers and Warriors, as they were never really serious threats to go ahead and get Pascal Siakam. And the new report we're hearing from Jake Fisher of Yahoo Sports, by the way, I know Jake Fisher personally. The Dallas Mavericks were linked to Pascal Siakam, but sources told Jake Fisher of Yahoo Sports that they have more of an interest in Andrew Wiggins, PJ Washington, Dorian Finney-Smith. Did you guys know PJ Washington is playing a third of his minutes at the center position? I think that's something. I personally think when I look at this, there are two guys who just signed deals. Wiggins is in the first year of a 4-year, $109 million deal. Wiggins has largely struggled since returning to the Warriors last season due to personal reasons revolving around his father's health. PJ Washington signed a 3-year, $48 million extension this offseason, and he's in the first year of that. Played a third of his minutes at the center position. While Dorian Finney-Smith can become a free agent in 2025, he's also played a lot of minutes at center. He's kind of this long-winged guy. So when I look at this, the trade chips they want to use is probably Jaden Hardy, Richaun Holmes, and the least amount of picks possible. So when I sit here and I look at the salaries for the Dallas Mavericks, they easily probably, Richaun Holmes with Jaden Hardy is going to bring you to about $14 million, and PJ Washington makes 16, so you could throw in right there, either Markieff Morris or, I think that's really the deal, unless they really want to move off from Josh Green, which I doubt. And I personally think PJ Washington would be the best fit for this team. Now, PJ Washington this season is averaging not the 15, 16 points a game he was last year. He went down from being a 16 points per game scorer last year to a 12 points per game scorer this year. And look, he is a guy who's a combo forward. He can play the 3 or the 4. He's more of a 4 naturally. He can play small ball 5. He's a solid catch and shoot threat. He's a really good screener. He finishes strong around the rim. He gives a good effort on defense when he wants to. He can operate out the post and has this old school big man post moves with drop steps. But I do like him. He's 6'8" with shoes on and has a 7'2" wingspan. So that's something to like. While over here, Andrew Wiggins is just absolutely playing god awful this season. He is shooting 42.2% from the field, just under 30% from 3, 4 rebounds, 1.5 assists, and 12 points a night. And what you're getting here is a long-armed wing who has shot blocking ability. At times, with the Warriors, he has looked like an all-star, and he's given a great effort on defense, and he loves guarding the opposing team's best defensive player, but he does disappear at times. While Dorian Finney-Smith is a guy who, is shooting 43% from the field, 40% from 3, 9 points, 5 rebounds, 1.5 assists, and he's kind of like, the old school type 3-and-D wing who can play multiple positions, including small ball 5. So I want to hear you guys' thoughts on that one. What do you guys expect and why? So let's get to the next rumor. So the Blazers don't want to move Jerami Grant, as Jerami Grant this season, one might say, is having a decent year. And for me, just dropped my phone. But to me, I'm not surprised by this, because our man, Dorian Finney-Smith, is a guy that, to me, my apology, Jerami Grant is a guy who is better than Dorian Finney-Smith, and he's better than a lot of these other players. But he's the type of player that did you know the Detroit Pistons deal that he signed a few seasons ago was matched by the Nuggets, but he wanted a bigger role? So the Blazers, according to Jake Fisher of Yahoo Sports, are not seriously entertaining any offer for Jerami Grant. This is a guy who's averaging 21 points, 3.5 rebounds, 2.5 assists, and 33.6 minutes a night through 34 games, Ironman stuff. and he's on the first year of that 5-year, $160 million deal. I think they know if they hold him, he's going to be a guy that they could get more value out of him down the road than at the deadline right now, when people aren't going to be as desperate as they will be probably this coming off season after experiencing the apron. Now, what you're getting in Jerami Grant is he's a high-flying forward who can play the 3 or the 4. He's explosive, finishing, can score at all 3 levels, got an incredible motor. Yeah, he's not, an ISO one-on-one guy, but he showed that he can create a shot. He's blossomed to one of the best two-way players in the league, and he's an all-star level player. He has a 7'2" wingspan on a 6'7" frame. So let me hear your thoughts down below. What do you guys expect for Jerami Grant? We're hearing that the Bulls are focused on trading, yes, Zach LaVine, who, incredibly, Zach LaVine, if you guys haven't been paying attention, he's actually been quite solid since he's came back from injury. He's played so far 6 games for the Chicago Bulls since returning from injury. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, he's been amazing. But the last 6 games since he's came back from injury, he has averaged 17.6.5 rebounds, 6 assists, and he's actually shooting 50% from the field and 50% from 3. He's playing really efficient. Like, he's showing that he can kind of be a role guy. And over these games, I think it hasn't been perfect, but they're 9th in the East. And what we're hearing that the Bulls, regardless of Zach LaVine and this team looking good, Joe Cowley of Chicago Sun-Times says that the Bulls executive vice president, Arthur Karnisovas, continues to be focused on first trying to unload Zach LaVine and reload this roster on the fly. I'm going to be quite honest. The easiest way to unload this roster, there's doing a deal with the Wizards. Now, the Wizards are probably going to try to get rid of Jordan Poole, which I don't think is going to be possible. But I'm a Wizards fan. And you have to think that maybe a Tyus Jones. So you got to do, it's $40 million we would need to work out. But let's say a team like Washington, who's just tanking, and maybe Portland is another one. But Washington, the easiest way would be Jordan Poole and Tyus Jones. But I think Chicago would be like, we're good. The next deal would be Kyle Kuzma, Tyus Jones, and 3 first-round picks. The third deal, Tyus Jones, Daniel Gafford, Landry Shamet, DeLon Wright for Zach LaVine, and maybe we'll take like DeSumo or something. Now, a team like Portland, and that's just trying to get rid of the contract. There's probably so many other things. Portland's the easier one in my opinion. Malcolm Brogdon, Matisse Thybulle, and maybe, I think technically I think they could eat the $8 million, right? Could they eat the $8 million? I don't know if they can, but if they can't, maybe it is a Jerami Grant and Matisse Thybulle. What do you guys think? Let me hear your thoughts. Spencer Dinwiddie on the move, guys. So the Hawks and Nets have touched base on a potential Spencer Dinwiddie move, according to Ian Bagley of Sportsnet New York. Atlanta have touched earlier this season about a deal involving Spencer Dinwiddie. Atlanta's interest presumably is based on what they would look for if they moved DeJounte Murray. So this is basically, we're going to move DeJounte Murray. Okay, let's go ahead and maybe find a guy we can replace him with. Now, the Brooklyn Nets, if they were moving Spencer Dinwiddie, a guy that they actually have talked extension with, and they believe he's a big part of their culture. He's making $20 million this year. I don't think he makes $20 million next year. I think he probably signs like a 4-year, $60 million deal, paying him $15 million a year. Now, if you're the Hawks, what are you going to send there? For me, DeAndre Hunter, if you're really trying to get off that money, could be the guy that they send. Another guy that they could look to move is Patty Mills, packaged with whatever they got back for DeJounte Murray. So let's say if they got like D'Angelo Russell. Okay, Patty Mills and D'Angelo Russell to the Nets. Okay, or they could do AJ Griffin, Patty Mills. That's where it gets tough. Because if I do Patty Mills and AJ Griffin and Clint Capella, I would personally want back from the Brooklyn Nets at that point, because Spencer Dinwiddie is making 10. I would do, if you send me Nick Claxton and Spencer Dinwiddie, I'd send you AJ Griffin, Patty Mills, and Clint Capella. Now, is that a deal the Nets want? Who knows? But what's your guys' thoughts? So the Jazz are allegedly continuing to build around Mr. Yes, the man, the pretty boy himself, Lauri Markkanen. As Wojnarowski says, Markkanen is more than likely going to get a contract renegotiated and extended by Utah, as he's their new face of the franchise. It makes sense. And with Lauri, what you have right there is a guy who, especially with what they talked about earlier today, how the parity across the league, you're not going to have these three-headed teams anymore. You're going to have two-headed teams, and Lauri's good enough to be a two-headed monster. And at this point, what you have with Lauri is a guy who can average 30 points a game, a guy who's going to be on contract for the foreseeable future. He's 7 foot tall. He can shoot threes at a high clip or get to the rim in just 2 steps. He has the ability to shoot from three, but has taken that step to be an all-star, all-NBA player. He's basically the more athletic modern day Dirk. The confidence is through the roof. His consistency has fallen, and he's buried early criticism of rebounding and defending and become better on those things. And he can play the five effectively in spurts, but he's best paired with a rim protector like Walker Kessler. And he's going to finish his career as a multi-time All-Star, maybe an All-NBA player. So it makes sense that you want to build through this guy because all you need to put is defense around him. So what we're hearing is Terry Rozier, if he's dealt, he wants to go to the Miami Heat, and damn, Miami's perfect for him. If I'm Miami, I'm like, okay, here's Kyle Lowry. But Terry Rozier is emerging as a potential trade candidate according to Jake Fisher of Yahoo Sports. Terry Rozier has been known to have a preference to get traded to the Miami Heat if the Hornets were to trade him. Now, Rozier has 2 years left on that 4-year, $97 million deal, which is like $23 million. His agent is Aaron Turner. If you guys don't know who Aaron Turner is, well, let's go ahead and tell you who else he represents. Aaron Turner represents guys like Delano Banton, Isaiah Jackson. Now, let's actually see who's the guys who got the most here. Terry Rozier, Derek Jones, Shakar Sampson, Kevin Knox, Kobe Simmons, Jonathan Kuminga, Trey Mann. All right, so if you look, he's got 2 Hornets players. He's got 2 T-Wolves, 2 Thunder players. So it doesn't look like he has a guy that's a specific like attachment to anywhere. So that's good that he doesn't have ties. So that's not going to dictate if he will or won't go to Miami. So that's good to know that like guys with CAA or Clutch Sports, you kind of know where they'll go. They'll only go to places with CAA or Clutch Sports clients there. So $22 million, $23 million. And we heard Duncan. I guess it would have to be Tyler Hero, or I think they want to do Kyle Lowry. And if you're Charlotte, if they sent you Kyle Lowry in a first-round pick, would you send Terry Rozier packaged with Nick Richards or Terry Rozier with JT Thor? What do you guys think? I think it's definitely interesting to see how this could all play out. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be interesting to see what's going to happen with the Miami Heat, because if they play the cards right, they could have a decent turnaround for themselves. But that's just my opinion on that matter. But what do I know?